What up YouTube, this is your president, the presidential terrorist, back with another video. I'm here at Oak Hill Cemetery in Bartow, Florida. Oak Hill Cemetery was founded in 1848. I'm actually going to do a whole tour of this cemetery in a separate video. But in this one, I want to show you the gravesite of Evander Law, one of the last Civil War veterans to pass away. I believe he passed away in the 1920s. They say he was the last Major General to pass away, but some dispute that he had that title or not. But I'm going to go into the cemetery and I'm going to show you his gravesite. I did film it before, but I didn't know too much about him at the time, but I want to add more to it, re-show it. But before we get over to his grave, I'm going to tell you a bit about him. And here it goes. Yeah. First off, before I get into some background, his biography, there's some disagreements on whether he was actually a major general. Because some said he got the appointment for it, but it didn't go to become official because the war ended before that happened. So some disagree that he was actually a major general, but it is definite certain that he was an actual general when he retired. So he did have a general rank. You know, there's different rankings of generals. For all intents and purposes, though, I say he was a major general, and that's it. In my opinion, from what I see. Of course, some historians may disagree with that. But anyways, he was born on August 7th, 1836 in Darrington, South Carolina. He graduated from the South Carolina Military Academy, where it's now called the Citadel, in 1856. He taught history at Kings Mountain Military Academy from 1858 to 1860. He would then move to Alabama to establish his own military school. When the Civil War broke out, he joined the Alabama militia as a captain. He would later join the Confederate States Army with the 4th Alabama Infantry. He would later rise up the ranks of lieutenant colonel and then colonel. During this time, he would suffer a battle injury to his arm. In May 1862, he was put in command of the Alabama Brigade under General James Longstreet. He would later take part in several battles and campaigns, including the Pensacola Campaign, the 7 Days Battle, Battle of Malvern Hill, Second Battle of Bull Run, and the Battle of, and I always say this wrong, Antietam? You know what I'm talking about. On October 3rd, 1862, he was promoted to brigade general. Probably his most famous battle was at Gettysburg during the fight at Little Round Top and Devil's Den. Well, this was not very successful for him. He would later see action in Tennessee, for example, the Battle of Chickamauga and the siege of Chattanooga. He was promoted to Major General, supposedly, on March 20th, 1865, but some do not consider it official since the Confederate Congress never confirmed it at the time of the war's ending. He married Jane Elizabeth Latta on March 9th, 1863. He would move to Florida in 1881. In 1895, he opened the South Florida Military College in Bartow, Florida, which he administered until 1903. He became a member of the Polk County Board of Education from 1912 until he died. And I also have, as you'll see in this slideshow, I have some pictures of his family, for example, his wife. And yes, he has an interesting background. It's definitely a more historical person in the Bartow, Polk County area. But I wanted to share some information about his background before I get on and show you his gravesite. Okay, you know what that means. Let's get to it and get to the next section. Yeah. Okay, here is the gravesite of General Law. It does list him as a major general. Like I said, some places dispute that. Some say he was. I'm going to go off saying he was. But I don't know. But he was one of the last, either way you could say that he was one of the last Civil War generals to pass. But he was fairly young. If you think about it, he was born in what, 1836. So what was he, 20-something years old? So yeah, So he lived a fairly long time. And he only passed away in 1920. Then he buried with his wife. And then there's some other members of his family buried here. There and there. See one of those Confederate markers. I forget exactly what you call that, but a lot of Confederate veterans has that. And of course, earlier in this video, you'll learn more about him. I actually haven't filmed that part yet, so I don't fully know what I'm going to say. But I mean, I generally know what I'm going to say, but not in the order and everything. But I'm going to fill you up with some interesting tidbits about his life. Definitely one of the more historical people that's buried here. There's a few others, like Jacob Summerlin, for instance, and some others that are more locally historically known. But there's the front of it, so if you want to find it, just come over here, facing inward, and it's to the right, almost to the back. It's right here, next to this tree, which had to have been basically a weed, and it's just grown into a tree now. But I think he's down in there. I don't believe there's anything in the back. But yeah, if there's any comments or questions about him, I'll try to answer, but I'm not an expert on him. I just want to cover some of the more historically known people that are buried in Polk County and surrounding areas, and he's just one of them. And I love history, and you got to study the good and the bad. But here it is, Major General E.M. Law, then his wife, Jane. And it looks like they both passed in the same year, 1920. Alright, any comment questions, let me know. I gotta get going. Thank you for watching, and bye everybody, bye.